everyone, to Sex with Kat and Mark. And today we have a very special guest on the show, Dallas Rayne. She's an OG. She's an industry leader. We love her. Thank you for joining us.
Hi.
So I guess we'll start with the first question, which is, how did this all begin? How did you get into the industry? How did you start it all?
Okay, so we're talking 15 years.
Let's go.
We're talking 2009 or something. I started off as a stripper in the clubs, as you do.
Mm-hmm.
I went along the natural course of progression that many of us do. So I started at the club, then I went freelance. I started doing private functions, topless waitressing. Then I was an R-rated showgirl.
Okay.
You know, that's like moisturizer, lollies, strawberries and cream, bubble bath shows. Then you are an X-rated stripper. That's like vibrators, dildos, squirting, fruit and veg.
Fruit and veg, love it.
The natural progression, right?
You started stripping and dealt
on
with
a few steps.
fruit and veg. Yeah. You never had the fruit and veg stage.
Carrot somewhere, anyway. As far as porn, AAAIA was one of the first original pornographic film porn production companies. So I think they actually scouted me, but I shot my first pornographic film when I was 25. So that was 2016. I won Best New Porn Actress, Best Australian Porn Star in my first year.
Oh, wow.
Around the same time, I ended one of my relationships, so I figured I'm going to fuck anyway. I may as well get paid for it.
Nice.
Love that.
So into escorting and porn, and that was 14, 15 years ago.
So what was that transition like as you were going through? Like when you first started, let's say stripping, did you have in mind, okay, like maybe one day I want to get into porn or escorting? Or was it just like each step was like a new thing and like a new thing? How did all that develop?
There is a legit whore-archy, as we call it. Whore-archy. So the topless waitresses think they're better than the strippers think they're better than the waitresses. The porn actresses think it should be a fantasy, whereas the escorts are ruining it because they're not a fantasy, they're a reality. You know, they're attainable.
Yeah.
Okay.
Everyone hates everyone in the industry.
Yeah. Back in that day, there was the whore-archy. It's not so much now. Now everyone's doing everything.
Okay.
So no, it was just different.
And did you feel that pressure as well as you were going through? Like, did you ever feel looked down upon by like people? Like, how did you deal with that? Yeah.
I was roasted. I was annihilated. I copped so much flack because I was one of the original girls to actually escort while working agency jobs. I was the first girl to do porn at agency jobs. I was the first girl to actually do porn and escorting while stripping and waitressing, and I copped it hard.
So you're like a trader. You were like, oh, so you're going back to doing like stripping now, but you're meant to be this role essentially.
That's so interesting.
Yeah. I never
no one knows any of this stuff like 10 years ago. Like a whole different thing.
Yeah, I guess because the internet wouldn't have even been like that big back then, wouldn't it? Or like not all the...
As in OnlyFans wouldn't have been.
Well, even like just the social medias and stuff. I'm trying to think, what was this, 2016? Was there even much social media back then? I'm trying to think like...
Yeah.
So, I don't know.
There wasn't content. There was like if you were a porn star, you were a legitimate Australian porn star. There wasn't a content.
So it wasn't like OnlyFans and things.
Yeah.
None of this stuff.
Yeah, no one owned their own shit, right? So you've done just about everything in the industry, right? I'm curious, is there something you actually enjoy more than others? Is it something you're really passionate about? Or do you equally like doing all the different things we just mentioned?
If you asked me like 10 years ago, it would have been a different story, obviously. I really, really, really wanted to do porn, and I'm glad I did. But now, and this is something I never saw myself doing, but now, like, my favorite thing is escorting.
Okay.
I love my clients and their unique stories they have to tell, like their reasoning behind seeing me. Waitressing and stripping was more like a party vibe, which is great when you were younger.
Party.
But like lots of drugs and alcohol and like that pack mentality with the guys. I mean, content for me was very unreliable. So, you know, with my escorting clients, they've got a hefty deposit that they don't want to lose. So they're definitely going to go up. And with escorting, I'm not working for an agency. It's private. It's behind closed doors. I can be myself. Like, it's my own business. I just, you know, it's the thing that I like. Yeah. And it's the most money.
Yeah. And the money. There's a cat answer right there. That's where all the money's at.
I haven't done as much.
Dallas, you know, they're paying to experience me in all my glory, you know, whether that's whatever it is on the day, like that's what it is. So I'm not pretending, I'm not acting, I'm not waitressing, I'm not serving, you know, like I am, but
so you feel like you can be more yourself, it sounds like, in these roles, right? Whereas obviously porn and everything else, you have to be someone else, whereas here you're yourself, and that's what people are appreciating. It kind of, I guess it feels nice, right?
Yeah, I'm biased. I love escorting as well.
It's your own, you don't answer to anyone.
Yeah, it's awesome.
So I'm curious, with all of the things that you do, because doing a lot of stuff in the industry still now, how do you manage your time and like stay organized and all of that?
Recently it has been chaos. For anyone that follows my Instagram, I'm like on my story all the time saying how tired I am. Like, I just can't function anymore. Like, the demand for my business is growing. My tours are really busy. As a guide, I tend to say that I'm available from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. So there's a 12-hour period in a day that I am available. I schedule appointments probably in 30-minute intervals. So if, say, you book an hour, you book 2 hours or 3, whatever, there's 30 minutes in between. So that lets me at maximum probably book 8 or 9 clients a day.
Oh, wow.
And I can do that, but, you know, I've just got to, physically it's extremely demanding, but I just tend to go into work mode. I just flick that switch and I smash it. I've limited my tours to 2 or 3 days. I used to tour for 10 days. Then it was 7. Then it was 5. Then it was 3. Now it's 1 or 2.
Yeah.
I think that's important, though.
Once a month as well. So.
Yeah, I think that's important to try find that balance, right? Because you don't want to essentially get burnt out, right?
I 100% get burnt out.
Yeah, exactly.
I also struggle with like the impersonal elements of escorting sometimes, like the guys that just come in, they're like, oh, do you want me to shower? Here's your money. Like, where's the bedroom? I'm like, chill for 5 minutes, sit down. Can I get you a water? Like, how about we chat for like 30 seconds? I'm not a robot, you know? Yeah. But as a whole, just switching mentally into work mode, even coming from a freelance stripping background, I'm used to booking myself consecutively every hour. So,
So when you spoke about that impersonalness with your clients, I'm interested to hear. So your ideal client then would be someone that you kind of got to know and sort of sat down and had more of like let's say like an emotional connection, or even just like on a friendly level, right? But like some type of connection with them. Is that kind of what you're looking for in an ideal client?
Yeah, I'm not a robot. I don't like the mechanics. It's not a business transaction like it is, but it doesn't need to feel like one.
Exactly.
Come into my space, be friendly, be vulnerable. Tell me about yourself. Tell me about your situation. I can cater to your situation better. Like, you know, I know about people's sons. I know about their wives. I know about their medical issues. I know about, like, you know, just let me in a little bit, get to know me. I've got long-term clients that, you know everything I've done in my career for the last 15 years. It's just, I'm not there. I provide more than just laying on my back.
No, I appreciate that. So what do you see it as almost like because I've spoken to people in the industry before and they describe this as well, where it's almost like a form of therapy in a way, where there is more to just like the physical side of things, where there is like emotional nurturing or caring or just like an emotional release. So it sounds like you very much like see yourself that way when it comes to like the service you offer as well, where it's more than just this physical pleasure that I'm like giving these guys, right?
As I've always said, anyone can lay on their back. Not everyone can be a service provider.
Yeah, that's very well put. I like that. And you have a partner, right? There's someone you're seeing, you have a boyfriend?
Yes, I do.
And how do you manage that? Because we just spoke about dealing with time when it comes to like business and getting overwhelmed and maybe getting burnt out. How do you juggle that and then also have a partner? How does this work?
I mean, I only tour probably once a month. Other than that, I'm home. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I'm sure everyone listening, right, is thinking in the guy's point of view, which is how does he deal with this? Like, is he allowed to see other girls? Does he get jealous? Like, is it he knows it's just work? Like, how does that work in a relationship with sex workers that are seeing people?
Yeah. Ugh. So that's like one of my real cringe things where someone says if I work and I escort and I'm a sex worker, that my partner should be allowed to fuck other women for fun. No. We, other than my work, my business, are in a completely monogamous relationship. There's no fucking other people for fun for me or for fun for him. Like the equal of me working is not him fucking other women.
Yeah.
That drives me a little nuts.
Did you want to explain? Because I think what people have a hard time understanding is how it is work for you. Because there's a lot of people out there listening that think, oh, but you're having sex, like it must be this like fun, enjoyable thing for you. I think a lot of people struggle to see, because even before I got into like, sex coaching and saw a lot of the sex industry from like Kat's point of view, even just seeing like say content creation, and it is just clearly business, right? It is like, if you actually go to one of these scenes all the time, you're like, oh, wow, this is a lot different than I expected. But I think a lot of people's idea in their heads is not that. So it's hard for them to imagine, a relationship where you're like working, it doesn't feel like work for a lot of people. So did you want to maybe describe for you how it feels like it isn't like a sexual, like romantic, let's say, fun aspect, that it is like work and you are able to separate yourself from that essentially? I
mean, it's labor at the end of the day. It's physical labor. So whether you're a therapist, whether you are a tradie, you are going to work for X amount of hours, you're seeing clients, you're providing a service, and you are coming home. And there's no difference to us,
Yeah, I agree with that 100%. It is different.
He just knows that I will just switch into Dallas mode and then I'm like me mode at home.
Yeah. Cool.
Like, it's so different. It is a service. Like, if you want, we call it the real GFE, so the real girlfriend experience. Like, I'm going to fart, I'm going to burp, I'm going to walk around in my Bonds granny panties, I'm going to wear your trucky pants, I'm not going to wear makeup. And there are days where I'm like, I don't feel like sex. Like, just, I'm going to swear. I'm just, Dallas is nothing to do with me. Like, Dallas is a version of me, but no one will ever get that real GFE except him.
Yeah.
Very different.
Yeah. I'm the same. So I'm very different, like in my personal life as well, especially when I'm with a guy. Like when I'm with a guy that I'm seeing, I'm very like cutesy and like, yeah, it's a different vibe. It is. It's totally different vibe.
Comfort level, when you get there, and then it's just all downhill from there. But if I have a booking from 8 till 9 p.m., he knows I'm going to text or message at 9:01. Like, there's there's no room for,
And in the beginning of the relationship, was this hard to manage or deal with, or was this something that he like understood from the beginning? Because I know with Kat, we've spoken about on the show before around the, like, let's say, advantages and disadvantages of dating someone like within the sex industry and outside the sex industry. And one of the things is like trying to find someone outside the industry is they oftentimes don't have this understanding, right? They don't understand what it's like and they find it difficult to comprehend. Was your partner one of the guys that was just like, oh yeah, fuck, it's cool, like I understand? Or did it take some time for him to actually see what it meant by you working and like you and your personal life and private life?
Like, it's just normal for me. I don't know any different. I have always dated as a sex worker from before I gotten like 19. Before, like, I was dating as a stripper, then I was dating as a porn star, then I was dating as like, I don't know any different. So I don't like. Yeah. There's just. Hang on.
No, you're all right. You're all right.
I don't know any different. Like,
Yeah.
No, I think what Mark is asking is like, did it take him time to understand like your job? Or did he come into it like knowing what he was getting into?
They know well up front. Like, my partners always know that I work, how I function. I keep the two very separate. I have 2 phones. I've got 2 emails. I've got 2 names. I've got 2 social medias. Like, I've got friends and family on one, and I've got like fans, followers, and colleagues on another. I never cross the boundaries. Like, there's no overtime. There's no overnights. Physically, honestly, I find that it turns them on. I always find that partners of sex workers are secretly turned on by knowing their partners with another man, and they come home. Whenever I come home from a booking or he comes home and I've had a booking, they're down to fuck all the time.
Interesting.
I love
There
that.
you go.
Yeah, some guys are into that. That is like a bit of a
Yeah.
kink that some guys are into.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
what, like liking your woman be like desired.
And I think it create like, even if you don't have that specific kink, I think even what it does is it does create desire. Like, I think in relationships, especially ones where you've been together for a long time, you are in that comfort phase and you are like used to each other being around. There's always like having that break from each other, even like going on your own holidays, it creates a lot of desire. So even in this situation, when you're at work and you go off to work for 3 days, that's going to create a lot of desire. Or if he knows, okay, you're with another guy, it's again going to like bring him back to one of those beginning stages of dating where you're like, oh, I might feel like a little bit more here right now in this moment. So yeah, I could see that 100%. Yeah. That's
I
cool.
find it like a claim, like a territorial claim.
Yeah,
Like,
it's like you're back with me
I've
now.
been with
Okay.
someone else. Just
Yeah.
need to plant that seed to make it yours again, and then we can go to
Do
sleep. and
you
move on.
find that sexy? Like, does that turn you on, knowing that you're coming back and he's like claiming you as his
No.
again, right?
Because like I love what's the word? What's the word? Like domination.
Yeah,
But-
yeah, right.
I love them being dominant, but not in a way that's, your typical BDSM crap. I mean, like, that's dominance to me. Like, it's mine. It's like my cat when he rubs himself all over me, he's
Yeah,
sentient.
it's
It's
more
mine.
instead of like degrading dominance, it's more, I guess, like loving or nurturing or like caring and like really wanting through dominance. Essentially, is what it sounds like. Yeah,
I'm into it.
that's kind of nice.
Yeah. So you guys are trying to start a family now, I understand.
Yep. So
Hey.
I'm 32. I've put 14, 15 solid years into my career, and it's just time for me personally to put my career on the back burner and focus on having a family. It's not like an opportunity that I want to miss out on. So, I've had some complications already. So I got diagnosed with adenomyosis. So that can cause a lot of issues with fertility and be very much harder to conceive through IVF and more chance of marriage and just,
Yeah.
all the crap anyway. So, I'm 32. I've got these kind of issues. Now is a good time to start trying. Like, I don't want to miss that.
Yeah.
So we are visiting a fertility specialist, Lynn Burmeister. She's like one of the celebrity baby making doctors. But yeah, I was on contraception for a few years, so I've come off that. But I won't be fertile for another 7 to 12 months. So
Okay.
just a lot of practicing of baby making at that stage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. Okay, that's awesome. So you're doing some planning essentially now. Are you
Planning
going
and practicing.
Yeah, you gotta get the practice in. Like, that's such a. I feel like a lot of men would say that is like, listen, tonight we need to keep practicing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is like, you might not be in the mood right now, but we need to practice. Okay,
Yeah.
This is, I love that. And so, how you plan? Have you thought about this, planning on managing your career? Either as you like plan to become pregnant, when you are pregnant, like have you thought about that moving forward? Is that something that's gone into the planning stage?
Like a year now. And
Oh,
it's
okay.
freaking hard. Like, I think this is what every woman should think about before they kind of get into the industry, because now I'm faced with it last minute and I'm like, oh, how do I manage, you know? So we have the option of maybe creating an OnlyFans while we go through.
Interesting.
Capitalize on that.
Interesting.
And the pregnancy and the trying to get pregnant. But I want it to be more of like a reality basis, not so much like pornographic.
Like both. So it'll be like,
such a good idea.
real time plus obviously a little bit of porn in there, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we have more to offer. We've got a whole life that's like interesting. We don't just like, yeah, okay, we can suck dick and, you know, we have more to offer, you know,
Okay.
my day-to-day life and my relationship and work. Like it's all still very interesting. Yeah.
It's like a mini reality TV
Yeah,
show.
I like that idea actually. I think that could
Yeah.
definitely work. I
Yeah.
think people would subscribe to that every month for sure.
100%, yeah.
Plus I need a
I
break.
think it's a great idea. This is because when you were saying like you're going to start a family, I was like, okay, like I'm trying to think like in the sex industry, it's obviously going to be a little bit. I think this is the best idea ever. If you create like a mini series of like, you even say like trying to get pregnant, right? The journey through, and then that's smart idea. I like it.
Well, we were going to call it Dating Dallas.
Okay, perfect.
So be it from his point of view, like what dating the number one escort in the country is like.
That's
like,
awesome.
I'm physically exhausted, and you know, I mean, I don't know. It's all trial and error now.
Yeah.
But in saying that, I am financially secure to take 12 to 24 months off, so I'm not actually having to work. If worst case scenario, I just need to take that time off. Like I'm really grateful to be able to do that. And, you know, but ladies, save for a rainy day because you may not think about it now, but like later on when you want to have a family, like if you don't have savings, you can't physically stop working unless you have like a day job and like your man's going to support you. And that's 2023. I'm weird about men supporting me. Like I just can't.
Really?
I'm the same. I'm the same. I always have savings. I've always paid for like everything. Yeah.
Do you feel, you said you feel weird about it though. Like what do you mean by that exactly? Do you just feel like your independence kind of gets taken away when that happens?
Yeah, I'm just an independent woman. I don't borrow money. I don't like get in debt. I'm stable. Yeah. Some people might pay a bill when it's due. I pay it the 30 seconds that I've received it. It's paid. Like I just get off on that. Like
you guys remind me.
Yeah,
of
this sounds like I'm the same.
I was like, as you're saying this, like this sounds exactly like Kat. There you go. Independent women,
That's
where it's at.
Yeah, it's just how we're programmed, I think.
Yeah.
No, that's cool. I like it.
So you have a new job now, like a civvy job as we would call it. How is that?
Sex work job.
Yeah. How is that going? Are you enjoying it? Is it fun?
Who was the original person to say civvy job? Like that's what I want to know. Someone started it and it just stuck. Like real bad.
Is this your first, because it sounds like you've always worked in the sex industry, right? Like, is this one of your first, like, non-sex industry jobs? Or?
I've tried a few things.
Okay.
I think I have, like, ADHD because I'm up to my
Okay, you two are the same person. All right, go
I have, like, 9 qualifications now, and I just can't, like, I think a bit of me is, like, just planning something as a backup. Like every 2-3 years I might get a job in some industry just to put on my resume so I don't look like I've got the last 15 years to account for on paper, you know. But yeah, it's going good. Yeah, it's quite a shock having the normal 9 to 5 kind of minimum wage.
Minimum wage,
okay.
Quite
how do you
literally
go from like earning a lot of money per hour to going to earning obviously not as much, right? Like, sure, like if that's me and I went from like earning, I'd be sitting there like I could have earned all this day's salary in like 1 hour. Like, what am I doing?
All the week's salary in 1 hour.
I literally worked a month and earned my hourly.
No way. That's insane. So you obviously
like you might have to pay tax on that as well. I'm like,
yeah.
And then Then there's the sign in or the clock on, clock off. If you're 5 minutes late and leave 5 minutes early every day, that's 10 minutes a shift that you don't get paid for.
Yeah.
I'm like,
and then there's annual leave. I can't wrap my head around annual leave. I don't know how I used to operate on with set amount of days off in the year. I actually my mind physically cannot comprehend the concept of annual leave anymore. Like whenever I'm talking to like my friends with like civvy jobs and I'm like, oh, let's just go here or let's just do this or do you want to come like overseas with me like in this month? And they're like, yo, I have annual leave. And I'm like, honestly, that concept is so wild to me now.
Yeah, the flexibility with doing what we do is so amazing.
Because the amount of times that we've just picked up and gone somewhere.
So Dallas, okay, so obviously it's not for the money, right? You mentioned it's nice to have on your CV. Are you enjoying it? Like, is it part of you doing this because you want something new and adventurous to like do in your life, or what's the real kind of drive or motivation?
Yeah, like the mental stimulation.
Okay.
But like, I'm on my feet all day. It is torture. Like, all I want to do is sleep. I'm so like fatigued lately. It's mentally and physically more stimulating and keeping me highly motivated and entertained during the week. Like, it was more boredom when you're constantly sitting at home waiting for clients, waiting for, you're doing hours of admin for free, basically. I have relationships now with people that mean something and they're not just physical. There's something on my resume. It's a professional career that I've accomplished, like without giving away too much. Like, there's relationships there that I care about,
Okay.
But I went into that job also knowing that I've already got this experience. So I still think escorting and having my own clients and care for people and that desensitization to seeing whatever the fuck I've seen into this new role is also still good. So
okay, very nice.
Yeah.
Now in my head I'm like, it's all cryptic, but that's amazing. It's nice. Do you you said you've kind of tried this before. Do you think this is something that you'll keep up sort of longer term, or is this for now and then you'll kind of see what happens?
I don't know.
Yeah.
That's the thing with me. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like entry level every occupation under the sun. So I've got a trade. I've got some care roles. I've done real estate. Like I'm yeah.
I feel like we literally are like so the same.
You guys are tripping me up.
I don't know whether it's like an ADHD thing or like I'm just genuinely curious about everything. Like, a lot of things do help me later on. Like, I studied another language and that will always help me.
What language did you study?
Italian.
Oh, so are you fluent?
No.
Oh, okay. But
I
still good.
studied Italian for 2 years. I remember nothing.
Yeah, same. Was that in school?
Yeah, mi chiamo Marco. That's it. I remember like one thing.
Yeah, I'm the same. I studied Italian for 2 years in school as well. Know nothing.
Yeah. That's awesome. And we recently saw you at the awards. Actually.
Yeah, it was when we first met.
Yes.
Well, officially met.
How many awards did you get?
Well, yeah, we were hosting, and literally every single it was like 5 in a row, pretty much, just like Dallas. Yeah,
I feel like did you win like 72 awards or something? It's very impressive. 5.
Only 5. Only 5.
That was
just 5.
Yeah, and what I liked is if I'm remembering correctly, you brought your partner up on the stage, right? Yeah, I thought that was really sweet. Like, yeah, it was really nice. It's actually, so for those that are listening, you essentially brought everyone on stage and said, look, partners of people in the sex industry are also like super important and supportive, and it's really nice and appreciative. So yeah, I thought it was kind of fun.
Yeah, that was my favorite part of the night, the shout out to the boyfriends of sex workers.
I was like, yes, boyfriends, let's go.
I'm getting so much feedback and credit from that one moment, and it was best touring escort. But it was also the last category. And there was part of it that's like, I just can't talk anymore. Like,
you said everything good that you needed to say. Because I know for the first award, that was like, I think it was the first one as well. And you gave a little speech, but then when you kept coming up, it was like, what do I keep saying now? Why do I keep coming up?
73rd award.
So do you want to just tell everyone, for everyone listening that maybe isn't quite familiar with you or like the recent awards, like do you want to just explain what awards you did win? Because I can't remember all 5.
Alpha Female Industry Leader Director's Choice. I won Best Female Pornstar, Best Female Escort, Best Touring Escort, and Best PSE Provider.
And this is at the Australian Adult Industry Awards as well for everybody listening.
And that was like amazing. Like I just never, ever, ever expected to win all 5 categories that I was nominated for. It did blow my mind a little bit. Look, I know how hard I voted, how hard I hustled, and that was obviously the goal. But my goal was more like maybe 2 or 3 or 4. Not 5.
Yeah.
And big awards as well, right?
Yeah,
like
they're like
impressive.
quite main awards.
Yeah.
So very, very job well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well, for me, Pornstar of the Year was the one that I really wanted to win as an Australian-only based porn performer. So normally performers gain success by traveling to the US, shooting for Brazzers or shooting for, however, I wanted to win like a homegrown Aussie girl based for my work only that I had conducted in Australia.
Yeah. Yep. Had you won that award before, or was that your first year?
2016. So my first year in porn, I got Best New Porn Actress and Best Australian Porn Star. And yeah, there's a big gap. But we had COVID,
Yeah.
So
yes, I have.
So being that leader that you are, what advice, because there's a lot of new people in the industry, obviously, like during COVID, I feel like there's a huge amount, obviously everyone knows, like OnlyFans, right? What advice would you give to people, not only coming from OnlyFans, but maybe girls that do want to get more into porn or just in the sex industry itself, whether it's escorting or stripping or whatever it might be? Like, do you have any advice for girls that are coming up new in the industry at the moment?
Just consider life after porn. You may not want certain things now, but you may change your mind later on. Everything is there for life. Like, I think the OnlyFans fad will it's temporary. I mean, I don't know, shit's changed so much in a decade. Like, this is all we know now, but I know what it was like before. So you can't put all your eggs into one basket anyway.
So essentially you're worried about girls are like, oh, just try it on OnlyFans, we'll see what happens. But now they've got their content out there forever and it might affect like either future employment or, potentially from relationships.
Well, I guess because girls are starting on OnlyFans like pretty much straight out of school these days. Whereas, they might not be liking that when they get into like their 20s, I guess.
Yeah.
There's been so much on TV and Instagram and TikTok and whatever. SBS the other night had a program interviewing pretty much all the content creators. One girl, one of the username 53241 whatever was actually her stepfather. Gross. You got to consider that. Another woman in Perth, I think, she's been saying how she tried to leave OnlyFans and go on to a normal job, and she can't even get accepted to a minimum wage job, entry level career now. Like, she's just got nothing. So you've got to kind of play both.
Yeah, people don't realize how permanent this can be, especially if you're face out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I also think I really hope it changes in the future. Like, I really don't like this idea how employers care so much about your personal life, especially like level entry jobs, right? Like, I can understand if you are like a spokesperson or you're playing for like a national like sport team or something. But if you're in an entry level job, like, why do they really care what's happening in your personal life?
Especially if you're not even dealing with clients.
Or like, if
you're just doing admin.
Exactly, right? Like, that really frustrates me. Hopefully that changes in the future. But for now, it sounds like it's impacting people. So if you are, I guess, getting into OnlyFans, be very careful, right? It's there forever.
Basically, what they said the other night was that employers were more accustomed to fire the woman producing the adult content rather than the male in the workplace that was likely to sexually harass that woman due to the adult content that she had put out.
Yeah, it sounds about right.
More inclined to fire the woman or the producer of, the cause than the actual perpetrator. So that's like fucked.
Yeah. And hopefully that slowly changes too. I know there's a documentary, I haven't seen it, but I've heard people talk about it, where it's called Life After Porn, and essentially speaks to that point that women apparently found it very hard to find employment and men were like not an issue at all. So again, hopefully all of this starts to change in the future and people kind of like push back against it a little bit. But yeah, it just goes again to your point. I guess if you're going to make this decision, like, think about it. And especially if it comes to something like, escorting is somewhat kept private, but something, especially like OnlyFans where you're putting out content, it's there forever. So yeah, it's a good point to keep in mind.
And you don't know who's watching either.
Yeah. True.
So I just have to ask, with SEXPO coming up, you like hosted, I think, SEXPO last year? Was it? Will you be at SEXPO again this year?
I didn't. I just that's cool.
Well, you were walking around with like a little microphone thingy, weren't you?
That's the same as the Adult Industry Awards. Like I just get around with my videographer and we just do like content that's not pornographic. Like we're doing the adult awards. So we're doing like the exciting stuff of the industry that's not just porn. So
cool. I love that.
So what type of content did you do there? Were you like interviews and stuff or?
Sorry?
Yeah, sorry. What type of content were you doing then? Was you doing like interviews with people and stuff or just walking around and chatting?
Yeah, just walking around to the different stalls and, you know, cool. What they have to offer and just the fact that I was there and kind of.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know.
Cool. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Will you be there again this year?
Different. Like, what are you going to do? Standing there in a 3x3 and just kind of, hey guys, going like, it's boring.
Will people be able to see you there this year?
I hope so. So I really, again, just want to do something different. So I will speak to them and see kind of what's possible and allowed. SEXPO changed their name. They're actually
LOVEx actually.
They changed.
Yeah, they changed their name. They've rebranded now. So for a similar reason, which I was telling you about, they don't want sex in the name. It's really difficult.
Okay, yeah. Fucking hell. All right, so LOVEx.
Yeah, it's LOVEx now.
LOVEx, interesting.
I don't agree with it. Like, I don't love my clients. I have sex.
Sex my clients.
Yeah, well, so when I was talking to them, because I was on one of the Zoom calls with them when they were like talking about this, and it is like things, because things like TikTok and stuff, you can't have the word sex and like a lot of marketing and things.
It's like, okay.
Yeah, so it was, they didn't do it because like they wanted to. It was more like things like TikTok and like Google and just like other mainstream ads. Like you can't like really have that there. So it was limiting their like marketing.
Yeah, we're running into the same problem.
Yeah,
like
so I've been
Mark. It's like hard with TikTok and stuff. So
we just have a similar issue.
It's going to be called LOVEx with Kat and Mark.
No. Yeah, so we're thinking of changing our name too soon. So
I'll see what I can produce from that. I have a certain thing in mind that I want to promote and that I want to do with it. But if it's not possible, like there's kind of no point. Okay. So if it's like G-rated stuff, then I'm like, just don't worry about it.
So we'll stay tuned. Right.
Yes, stay tuned.
All right, one question I like to ask people in the industry is what is one of your like best stories you've had with the clients, or craziest stories or worst stories? Just like, obviously you've been in the industry for, what did you say now? Like
15?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah. Oh, wow.
It's
so
fine.
Do you have any interesting stories from your clients?
Good, bad, or ugly?
Hit me, whichever. You prefer.
Yeah. Dealer's choice.
Exactly.
As far as escorting, like a bad experience, I had one guy.
Oh, now I'm looking forward to this one.
We love the stories.
We were just talking about backlicking off air.
We were talking about some of my bad stories off air.
Yeah. So what happened?
Okay. Anyway, this guy came from the races. I'm not sure what kind of races, but he'd been drinking rum since like 8 a.m.
Good choice, like rum. Yep.
Just plastered. He attended the appointment and he got a little relaxed and like he's standing and I was kneeling, you know.
Just praying before the scene, or is it?
Oral is kind of like a final get him to finish vibe.
Yep.
And he just kind of relaxed and, you know, I felt something in my mouth. He's like, I'm going to come. I'm like, yep, cool.
Okay.
And it just kept coming.
No.
And it was kind of the wrong consistency. No. And I pulled away and realized he was actually pissing himself.
Oh, that's a good story.
What? How do you react to that? What do you even say?
I think it was a bit like
just what the fuck?
In your mouth, like I feel like the fact that it's in the mouth is worse. Like, if
I'm confused. Was this hang on, okay.
how do you mistake the two?
Was this guy like got a fetish and he's like, I'll just do it? Or was he just drunk and had no idea what was going on? Like, I'm so confused.
I would like to think that it was the alcohol and it was accidental, because if someone did that on purpose, like, I'm pissed.
Yeah, well, yeah, pissed
Pardon
for
the
sure.
pun.
Because dude, that
what
is-
did you even? What happened next? Like, I'm curious. Like, you've got
it
piss
went
in your
nothing.
mouth, and then what
God.
happened?
Not the first time, but
I'd be like, excuse me, there's an extra rate for that, okay?
yeah, it was basically just, I'm so sorry, Dallas. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he like grabbed his clothes and fucking ran out of the room.
Oh, okay, good.
Oh, okay.
That's actually that's good.
All right,
I
that's a better reaction as opposed to him being like, fuck, that was hot. Did you enjoy that? Like,
or
then
like
I
if he
was-
just stays there and he's like, oh, okay, so can I actually just come now? So can you finish me off?
Oh my God. All right.
Oh, that.
Interesting.
Oh my
All right,
God.
well, let's balance it out. What's the nice thing?
Yeah,
the
what's a
client's
good
done for
story,
you? What's
maybe?
like a nice client story?
So obviously earlier I mentioned about the adenomyosis or whatever
Yeah.
it's called. So that gives you severe abdominal pain,
Mm-hmm.
basically, and really painful sex. So my job can be really fucking difficult.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, I had a client book me for a few hours VIP. So they've already booked the most expensive VIP treatment. I'm like, tick, you know. It's a Sofitel or some really bougie, like
Nice.
beautiful 5-star hotel, tick. The abdominal pain started kind of towards the end of our booking, and I had to actually stop the booking. So I was like profusely apologizing to this guy, like, I'm so sorry, like, you know, I couldn't quite finish. We'll finish him.
Yeah.
And he was just like, you know, don't be silly. It's quite obvious that you're in quite an amount of pain. Like, I was just curdled over on my side, holding my stomach. Not only did he kind of like, he didn't request any kind of credit or refund whatsoever for the last 30 minutes of a 2-hour or something booking. But he actually rebooked me for my next tour in his hometown and paid in full upfront. Like,
Oh, wow.
he just treated me like an absolute human being and a woman, and just, you know, just so nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's really sweet. It's a lot better than getting peed in the mouth. That's
Yeah.
The bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about the text message I received the other day.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, it's really sweet. I guess I can't speak from experience, but you guys, like, it must be really nice when you come in and, as you were saying before, the client isn't there just like get himself off, but he is just saying, like, sees you as a person. It's like this time that you're spending together, even though that is a transaction essentially, it doesn't feel that way. So it's kind of nice.
Yeah, for sure.
That was a really nice, like, I didn't forget it anyway.
Yeah, perfect.
So what's the future plans for Dallas? Obviously, we know you're trying to have a baby, maybe going to start the OnlyFans. Is there anything else, like even, 5, 10, 20 years? Like, is there anything else that you are thinking about long-term doing?
I don't go that far.
Yeah.
As a whole, it's just grow my business, like continue to do what I always have. Like, been around a lot longer than most. So, I'll just continue to smash it or kill it or whatever. I tend to not want to do what everyone else is doing. I want to be a bit different. So depends what everyone else is doing. I need to manage family and work life. There's like life in the spotlight, then there's life that is my private stuff. Have a baby. Like, I want to give my kids the best possible upbringing. Obviously, I need to conceive first and then go from there. But my goal at the moment is just balance home and work life. But yeah, you want to bet that I'm going for them same awards next year.
Well, let's go.
Yeah.
All right. Well, hopefully we'll see you off on the stage again for sure.
I don't know. It depends if I can shoot content, if I can do porn, if I can do escorting. If I'm like pregnant, maybe I won't go for the awards because
Maybe best MILF.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I don't see me ever going for best MILF. It's not two things that I ever want to, I don't know, just
Fair.
not my vibe.
Mm.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the same. I'm not about the mummy vibes.
All right. So what do you got coming up? Do you have any tours, events? Where can people find you? What's happening?
I mainly tour, like I'm based in Melbourne, but I mainly tour like Sydney, Perth, Adelaide, and Canberra, Newcastle, Wollongong, Gold Coast, you name it.
Everywhere.
I have considered a New Zealand tour lately.
Okay. All right.
But I'm not sure how much flights and traveling that would be in comparison to actual work time. Because you've got Auckland, you've got Christchurch, you've got, there's so Wellington, like there's so many little areas that you want to go. And if I limit my tours to like 1 to 2 to 3 days.
Yeah, it's tough.
I can't quite do that. And I don't want to be back and forth.
Yeah.
New Zealand is technically overseas. So, yeah, I don't know. It's like a lot of effort for the same amount of money that I can make.
Fair, true. Yeah, makes sense.
But yeah, find me on Scarlet Blue, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. I don't have TikTok.
We only have I don't have a personal TikTok, just the podcast one. But I'm not a fan of TikTok. I don't understand it. I'm not about it.
I don't know how.
All right, so we'll put some of the links down in the comments below and in the description. So if people want to get in contact with you, they can. Otherwise, thanks so much for joining us. Good luck in the future and starting a family and everything that you got going on. And hopefully we'll
we'll have you on next year and maybe everything will be a lot more things to talk about.
Exactly, a bit of a bump. We'll see what happens. Yeah,
my tits can't get bigger, surely.
You know what? They might.
Yeah, they probably will. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
All right, cheers.